The MFL MarMac Bulldogs improved to 4-1, going on the road last week and knocking off the Sumner Fredericksburg Cougars 28-15 in this Bulldog Coach Conversation brought to you by Havlicek Trucking, Meyer Auto Service, and Birdnow Chevrolet. Head coach Dan Anderson joining us. And you're into district play. You knew it was going to be a tough test last week, but your kids got it done. How'd you get it done?
Most of it came down to physicality up front with the offensive line, and that's where we won the battle for sure. The first half was pretty tight. They scored first. They went down the field, scored on us. They ran option well. I know we talked last week about how to be prepared for the option, and we were, but they still ran it well. And they got some hats on our hats, and quarterback was able to keep it and get some yards, and they scored first. But then we were able to go down and score on them, and had a couple penalties that extended their drive there right before halftime, which is kind of frustrating. A kid's excited, but you do some things sometimes that you shouldn't do. And had a kid that got called for a taunting, which is kind of uncharacteristic. But kid was just excited. He got a sack, and he turned away and was excited with his players. But I don't know what he said, but got the flag that extended their drive, and they scored right before halftime. They took a 15-14 lead. So second half, though, we really buckled down, shut them down for the most part, and really were able to win the line of scrimmage in the second half and had two backs over 100 yards rushing, and that was Eli Hansen and Quinn McGew. And then Stoddard did a really nice job at quarterback, as we talked last week, first-year guy, but he was 8 for 11 for 110 yards, so very efficient. And kept the DBs kind of back. They couldn't creep up to the box.
And you mentioned Stoddard in the passing game, 8 for 11, 110 yards. What made your passing game so efficient last Friday?
Well, I think he's getting more confident back there in the pocket, and he's seeing the field better. When you're a rookie QB, things are moving pretty fast. And I think now he's, really getting settled down back there. He understands where his guys are going to be. And I think to be a good quarterback, you're not necessarily looking at your receivers. You're actually looking at the defensive backs and what they're doing. And where your receivers are going to be. And I think that Stoddard's doing a much better job of just understanding where his receivers will be and leading them well. He had some really nice passes, 2-minute drill, getting us down to field goal range, although we had a blocked kick. But, he did a nice job of getting us down into field goal range there right before halftime, too. So, he's just seeing the field better, and he's a little more confident and comfortable back there in the pocket. Obviously, our offensive line giving him time to throw.
And maybe this is something we just look at outside looking in, but of those 8 completions, they went to 5 different receivers. Is that important based on what you want to do in the passing game?
Oh, sure. Anytime you can get it to different guys, I mean, we want to get the ball to a lot of different kids. We've got kids that can make plays, and when you spread it out, teams can't key on one guy, and can't double coverage anybody or anything like that. So yeah, that's important. But I think it's just important that against Sumner Fred, we were 8 for 11. I think that's important for future games too. Our opponents are going to see that and understand that they can't pack the box. They can't put 8, 9 guys in the box all the time to try to stop a run, because we've proven that we can throw the ball and we can be pretty efficient at it.
And you're down to 3 weeks left in the season, and you got another tough district test coming to town this week as Dike New Hartford will be coming to town. They lost in week 1 of the season to Grundy Center, but have won their last 4 games. What about this year's edition of the Wolverines? What makes them tough?
Well, they're always tough, that's for sure. Don Betts is a Hall of Fame coach, and I mean, over the last 20, 30 years, I don't know what their record is, but they've made the playoffs most of those years, and they probably average 8 or 9 wins a season over the last 20 years. They're just always an outstanding ball club. They get great participation. I think they've got 70 guys on their roster. We're at about 38, and so they've got double our numbers. They've got really good athletes down there at Dike too. I mean, guys that can run. They've got a good basketball team, good track team. I mean, they just got good athletes. I think they've got 10 seniors that are starting for them on offense and defense. A lot of those guys were on that team that last year, they had 3 losses. They went 8-3 last year, and they had 2 losses to state champion Grundy Center and 1 loss to us, who was also in the state championship game. So, I mean, if you're going to lose 3 times and you lose to the teams that were in the state championship game, that just tells you what kind of program they are and how good they are And the fact is, they've got pretty much all those kids back from last year's team. And on the last 4 weeks, I mean, they did lose to Grundy, but one thing about them is they're explosive. They can score all the time. I mean, they've scored first on every team they played this year, including Grundy. And the last 4 weeks, they've outscored their opponents 124-0 in the first half. I mean, they get out fast, 124-0. And so, I mean, they're just outstanding, explosive team that can run and throw. They've got, a really good running back in Borcherding. They've got Meester, their quarterback, who can run and throw. They've got multiple receivers that, have great hands and run good routes. And then they've got a 6'4" tight end that they love to throw the ball to too. So there's, pick your poison there. They're just, very dynamic on offense. And then defensively, they're just very schematically sound. They what you're going to get out of Dyke, but they just are very well coached, and they don't give up big plays because they've got a lot of speed. So it's going to be a really tough ball game for us.
And you mentioned the defensive side of the ball. They've only given up 39 points all year, and over half those points were to Grundy Center in week number 1. You mentioned they're just sound. They don't do anything complicated. What type of challenges does that present for your offense trying to attack a defense like that?
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard to get big plays, number one, against these guys. They've got so much speed in their secondary. They play, they understand, their assignments, and you're not going to fool them. You're not going to trick them usually with anything. You're just going to have to beat them with execution. One thing that I do believe, though, is they've seen Grundy, who was obviously the number 1 ranked team for a reason, a 31-game winning streak. But I don't believe they've seen an offense like us. Now, they've seen Central Springs, who's a wing T team, but I don't think they've seen a team like our wing T that's as big and physical and as dynamic offensively also. So, we understand that to beat these guys, we're going to have to take care of the football. We can't make any mistakes. We can't have turnovers. We can't have dumb penalties that put us back or extend their drives. We have to make the most of every opportunity we have. Have to understand that it's okay to punt, and play defense. But, the number one thing is we have to, this has got to be Underwood 2.0 from last year. We need 35 minutes of time of possession is what we need. We need to make sure our best defense is keeping our offense in the field and grinding it out, with our big guys. Because that's one place I do believe we got the advantage on these guys. And I think we got the advantage over a lot of teams is we've got a really big physical veteran offensive line that can move people. And we've got backs that run hard. And, if we can move these guys and get first downs, keep them off, get them a little frustrated, then we got an opportunity to win this game. But it's going to be tough. I mean, they're ranked number 3 for a reason. Like I said, it's our biggest challenge of the year, and it's likely for the district title, and they've got a lot of returning starters, and our seniors are going to have to play like seniors, and our younger guys are going to have to step up. And, but this is why you play football. We're ready for this opportunity. I mean, that's what, we were hoping we'd have a chance to be playing for a district title at some point here in October. And here we are, likely, as long as we take care of business, our last 2 games, but this is probably the district title game right here. If it comes down to both teams playing well.
Well, in honor of your mentor, Bill Post, it's going to be at Donnybrook Friday night, right?
Sure. It will be. It will be. Should be anyway.
All right. Should be a great ball game in Monona Friday night. Keep your guys healthy, Coach. We wish you best of luck.
All right. Thank you much.
Danny Anderson, head coach of the MFL MarMac Bulldogs, brought to you by Havlicek Trucking, Meyer Auto Service, and Birdnow Chevrolet.